One of the challenges for Reasons to Believe's human origins model is that humanity seems to have started about 100,000 years ago, but large scale farming seems to have only gone as far back as 14,000 years ago. This presents a problem because in Genesis 4, Cain and Abel seem to be involved in agriculture. Most people see this to be in reference to large scale farming, which isn't consistent with historical data. Dr. Kevin Birdwell, you are a Christian and a climatologist. Can you shed some light on this data?
Well, I think so. First of all, I think it's important to recognize that early in human history, the population was very small. So it's not that somebody couldn't have had a plot of farmland or, been growing a garden, but because of the low numbers of population, it's unlikely that we would have discovered it. Now, that evidence may be out there and it may eventually be discovered. So what we're really seeing is evidence for large-scale farming when we do see it 13, 14,000 years ago. So why then, you might ask, is the large-scale farming not sooner? And I think the climate change of the past 100,000 years really answers that question to a large extent. There were some periods prior to 74,000 years ago of several thousand years where perhaps farming could have been more beneficial to humanity. But starting really during this era, you were already beginning into the last ice age. And the thing about ice age climates is they are very unstable. Sometimes we complain about, ups and downs in the climate even today, but those ups and downs are very minor, very small compared to what happened in the ice age. Just by its very nature, the ice age climate actually has quite a bit up and down, give and take to it. Maybe on the order of several degrees Celsius on a global scale. And what that basically means is it's very difficult for a society to develop large-scale farming, because what will happen is the climate will change, and then the farming doesn't prove to be profitable.
So even a couple of degrees Celsius can have a broad scale change.
Well,
can effects, I mean.
Well, definitely. Even after the large-scale farming really got going, say about 11,000 years ago, give or take, there was a downturn in the climate. Was kind of, it might even have been sort of a last gasp of the remnants of the ice age, although it was already after the ice age. But that lasted for that was around 6200 BC, and that lasted more than a century, and that actually decimated a lot of the farming that had already gotten going in, say, parts of Turkey and northern Iraq and that region. But also, what really got this going way at the beginning was 74,000 years ago. We had the Toba super eruption, and that seems to have helped kickstart the more intense portion of the ice age, because the Toba eruption was, well, if you think of Mount St. Helens, it released about a cubic kilometer to a cubic mile of debris in its eruption, and we all consider that a big eruption. Well, this Toba eruption was the largest in the last 2 million years. It released 2,800 cubic kilometers of debris, so it had a very negative cooling effect on the climate. But then when we fast forward to the more current time, the 11,000 years and later, then farming was finally able to get started, because now we were past the ice age, the climate was more stable.